Art students, today is your last day and you're going to turn in your art at the end of today. There are 4 things that we have to do before we can turn in our art. The first thing is to make sure our art has our art magic. So in this case, our art magic was line. So when I look at my project, I should cleanly and easily be able to find the type of line I wrote on my sheet. I wrote zigzag line, right? If I look at my project and I can't easily find the line, like on this one, I can't find curlicue lines, I might have to actually draw them into my clay piece, right? Or add them to my clay piece because I said I was going to make that type of line. Once I'm sure I can see my art magic, I need to take my art and clean it up. No one wants to see a messy room and no one wants to see your messy art. So you have to clean it up. And in fact, this is a graded part of what I tell your parents. When you get a report card in art, part of what I have to assess you on is your ability to prepare artwork for presentation. Now this happens to be the 3rd grade rubric, but all of the rubrics have almost the exact same thing. It just has different expectations. When we clean our artwork up, Miss Russ is gonna be picky. She is going to look for anything that looks like it is messy. See that little line there? Miss Russ would tell you you have to clean it up. In other words, erase that out. Look, I can find another one over here. She would tell you you need to clean that up. Why? If your artwork is too messy, everyone's going to see the mess and they're not going to see your art. So we have to practice on presenting the nicest product we can make, our bestest work. If you were clay, this is even more important because your clay could actually damage your mom's table, right? It makes really sharp edges when it's done. So you can take one finger and put it in water and you can smooth out all your edges. Now, don't douse your project in water. Don't do so much water because if you drown your project, you will break your clay. What happens if you put too much water on your clay? It will break. All right. The next thing clay people need to do is they need to check and make sure all their clay pieces are stuck on. If you wiggle your piece, it shouldn't come off. If you wiggle your piece and it comes off, this was a sign it was always going to come off. You need to slip and score that and then squish it back in place. Some students try to fix this by not slipping and scoring and instead just smoothing out with their fingers. It doesn't matter how much you do that, it will still peel off. You have to slip and score. All right, once you've done your art cleanup, you next need to do your art label. Your art label is going to be, if it's a flat piece of work, look like this. You're gonna write your first name. Hopefully you have room for your last name. And then you're also gonna include your class code, which is the grade you're in, your teacher's first letter of their last name. So this is Mrs. Judge. So her last name starts with a J. So we would write J. Dash and the day you have art. So this happens to be Friday. If your teacher gives you a number, you're also going to write that here. Then on any flat piece of work, your label is going to go in the bottom right-hand corner. What did I just say? The bottom right-hand corner. But Miss Russ, I don't know which way is right. If you do this, the direction where your L is faced the right way is the left, and the other hand is the right. So bottom right-hand corner. It's harder if you're on clay because you actually have to stick it in. So what you don't want to do is do it too light. Okay, so you're only going to do the first letter of your first name and the first letter of your last name, but you have to be able to see it. So I can barely see that A. Instead, it should look like this, right? But I don't want to do it too hard. Look, that person pushed it all the way in because it actually came out on the other side. So that is what we want to avoid. Then I'm still going to do my class code, the 2, this is 2nd grade, Vetter, and then there's no dash in Tuesday. All right, once you're sure that you've done all that, you're going to check with Miss Russ. And she's going to be pretty serious. She's going to make you show her where your art magic is. She's going to nitpick your piece to make it sure it's totally cleaned up, just like some of you might have a parent who you say your room's clean and they're like, no, 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 and they point out 3 more things. Miss Russ is going to do that, so just be prepared. You're going to have an art label, and then when she approves it, she will put it on the cart. Once it's on the cart, you have explore time where you can create something new. I enjoy seeing your artwork. Get ready for display. Bye!